good news. We're back. So there it is.
So we're here with Mick Micheals, Quarters Dancers. So Mick, we were just before that. So I've been with RFL now. I guess this is my 4th month, but I've known the boys for a while. So 2 things I want to bring up. One, you mentioned the new model, which I've been involved in 2, and the 3rd one's coming up, signings. And the thing that I find with the label is there's no cookie cutter approach. Everything is different. It's set up a different way. But the one thing that I noticed right away, there's no giving up of the rights or distribution or publishing or anything like that. So the artist retains it. But the second thing that you mentioned was, the self-promotion piece. And when I'm talking to the boys about who's doing what, your name consistently comes up as the guy that goes out there and drives hardest to hoop to promote himself. Part of what I'm trying to wrap my head around with the role that I have is who's signed, what they've been doing, what they're willing to do, and and what I can do to help them. And again, your name consistently is the one that, oh my God, he just does it. He gets it. He goes hard. Talk a little bit about that, this new model, about how you can't sit on your rear. You got to get out there and shake the bushes.
Well, I think, listen, the new model has good and bad, just anything does. And that's the way I look at it. So instead of like sitting around and bitching and saying, well, this is the bad, I mean, because listen, we're well aware of it, and I could bitch with the best of them, of course. But like, it's not going to get you anywhere, right? So you have to kind of, as a quick example, like when COVID hit here in the States, like when we went into lockdown, the Corners of Sanctuary was in the UK. We were doing our first UK tour. So they canceled our flight. And we're like, well, listen, we're kind of stuck here. Let's just keep going until the UK says that we can't go. So we only got a couple shows in, and then we were told, listen, that's it. You guys you have to get out, or you're not getting out until May, and this is March. Right. So scrambled 27 hours to find a flight. We found one flight. We got out. We came back, and it was like a ghost town. Everything was dead. And we were like, what? So for 2 weeks, we're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Finally, we started talking and said, look, let's stop complaining about what we can't do anymore. Let's figure out what we can do with what we have and just make it work. And that's how I've looked at this new model the whole time. What I do like, again, you do get to keep your rights, and I think that's really important. And the trade-off is you don't get to make as much money because there's not as much money on the table, or in some cases, there's no money on the table. But if you're in it for the money alone, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable to keep writing that way. It has to be something that you want to do. So once you overcome that, you figure, I got to the social media thing late for my age, I got to it late, and I'm still not that great at it. Personally, I don't like it, but I realize it's a piece to the puzzle that has to be used. I just kind of leverage it the best way that we possibly can. I use it in a positive way. I don't use it in a negative way in terms of there's not bitching and complaining. We don't talk about other bands or any of that kind of stuff. It's a promotional piece. And I know there's that model that was a couple of years ago, when after Taylor Swift made it. And anytime it becomes a model in the industry, it's already 3 years behind. So everybody wanted you to become personal and tell the story and stuff like that. But if that's not in your heart or in your personality, it's contrived and it's not sustainable. At least that's how it worked for me. So I don't do a lot of personal stuff on the internet at all, like social media. So it's about the band, it's about the music, and that's how we do it. So, but like I said, the trade-off is like Dave mentioned, like the responsibility is on you, the finances are on you. So I've always told people, listen, it's my career. So if I'm not taking it seriously, how can I expect somebody else, a label or whatever, to take it as seriously as, if no one's going to take it as seriously as I am, if I'm not taking it seriously. So
that's right. And you're smart, unfortunately, because it sounds like you're networking a lot too. And then that's just something that Sean and I've learned, a long time ago. And they never taught you that in school. You kind of learned that while you're a struggling musician. In order to survive, you got to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and then then you have to have a pretty sharp wit and be pretty quick on your feet. But that networking part of it is instrumental now, I'm sure, because if you want to book a tour, if you want to get a good deal on merch, if you want to try and make a real goal of it, you need to know people who are experts in that field.
Yeah, it's the power. And, one of the first things that for anybody, whether it's this industry or another industry, is just kind of list out the people that you know and what they do, right? And you start leveraging that in a sense. And it might come off as saying, well, it's a huge job. Well, no, it's not, because you can't expect to utilize resources but don't give anything back.
That's right. It's bartering. Let's be fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but the thing is it has to be a mutual respectful type of relationship. Especially the problem that I've always seen in this industry, it's tough to make long-term relationships because people come and go. A lot of the since with the new year 2021, it was turning into a new industry prior to COVID. Now it's yet another new industry. A lot of the people that we worked with just gave up, hung up, they said, that's it, I'm done, or we're not doing anything till we know for sure. Like I said, all new venue people of the venues that did survive, they have new protocols now and things like that. So we're all learning yet again. But I think that the discernment of that is like, if you approach it in a manner that's business-like, and I'm not saying you got to be all snooty and stiff upper lip, but professionalism, right? I mean, professionalism and business is usually a dirty word when you're talking about bands, because everybody thinks it's, we're just having a good time and partying. Yeah, that's part of it. But if you're more than just a weekend warrior and you're writing music for someone more than yourself in your basement, then you have to take it in a different approach. And I guess that's the way I've always addressed it. Like there is an urgency to what we do. Otherwise, and especially in today's market, in 3 months you could disappear.
Yeah.
Not even at your own fault. It's just that there's so much, right now it's like over 2 million new uploads monthly on Spotify and stuff like that. And that doesn't even count the artists or, independent people that are just releasing stuff on their website. That means everybody's recording.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, everybody can, has a home studio, or they do it in their bedroom. And, we talked to somebody last night about, again, we're all of the same, you mentioned it, yearage or vintage. And, we had to cut our teeth by learning the hard way, rewinding tapes or using vinyl. And now you can see a 4-year-old playing Tom Sawyer perfectly on the drums. And it's just, there's so much information out there. But one of the things too, that as you were talking, that I thought about, when I lived away for a while, we had this manager who used to say to us all the time, if you don't believe in yourself, and he meant if you don't have an attitude to do it and you don't work hard, do things for yourself, why would anybody else even want to put anything into you? And I've got to know you a little bit, obviously, through RFL, but you seem to consistently always have something on the go that keeps you guys in the spotlight a bit. Like there's not a lot of dust that settles on you guys.
Yeah, well, we do like the work. Actually, I could probably break that down. I like the work, and you know what I mean? And, I lay things out for the band and stuff like that. And we discuss it. It's democratic. It's not just a one-sided thing. And, but you learned it relatively quickly. Like, again, the thing is, it's not 84. Def Leppard takes 4 years to do an album, and they come back and they have an audience. That's understandable. They could do it today. Motley Crue, Judas Priest, Kiss. They're always going to have an audience. However, Corners of Sanctuary isn't, and a lot of the other bands that are in the same boat, the audience is so fickle today and changes so quickly, that you have to keep offering something. It's not an album age anymore, even though for me it still is. I'm not a digital downloader, but you have to kind of offer that to the people to do. And you just have to, even if it's just the smallest thing, you have to kind of keep it out there, because again, if anything demonstrated is like 2020, that downtime, like I said, a lot of bands disappeared a lot of music people disappeared, even on the other side, like, management and PR people, radio people, press people. They just disappeared, closed down for whatever reason. So nothing's guaranteed, right? And if
Well, one of the things too, Mick, that I was thinking too, you guys, again, you're out there, you're working. For our viewers that are just getting familiar with your band right now, and I noticed a striper picture over your right shoulder there. Nice. Introduce. No, they're not here, but introduce the guys in the band and who they are and what they do. Because I mean, you guys have all been working hard to keep things going, and I do believe 2022 is going to be a big year for you guys.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Keeping our fingers crossed. On vocals, we got Frankie Cross. Frankie joined us in 2013. When this band started, we were actually a 3-piece, and the drummer sang. And we did a couple albums like that. And it was just, we found that we couldn't get everything we wanted to live without having a dedicated singer for that position. The stage got kind of boring. You know what I mean? We needed that focal point. We're a guitar-driven band, but everything revolves around those vocals. And then a stage show, even if it doesn't have lights and risers and thing, it's still that singer that kind of keeps the focus. And there's just no two ways about it. That's the power of the band, right? On bass and backing vocals, we got James Para. And again, James and we've been playing together since '85 in a host of bands over the years. And it's a friendship, it's a brotherhood. It's family in the way I look at it. And then on drums we have Mad T. He came in 5 years ago. He was actually our roadie in the beginning, and he was learning our songs. He was just picking up our songs because he was at the shows and stuff like that, where he wound up starting to fill in for our previous drummer when he was sick, or he couldn't tour. So T was with us, and we were kind of going, that drummer always had something. It got to the point where we just parted ways, and in my opinion, Mad T was the first choice. And when he joined us, now he was much younger than the three of us, Frankie, James, and myself. He brought this whole new life, I would say, especially at that time, I think, because we were like, oh man, what are we going to do here? Because Sean, who was the previous drummer, we had played with him on and off over the course of 25 years or so. So, but T brought in a different feel to the drums, which opened up more vocal things, gave us more, and he also plays guitar. So on Galloping Hordes, and actually the last one too, Heroes Never Die, he came up with some guitar riffs, and which is new for me, work in this band, working with another guitar player. So I had to learn a little bit of his style and then kind of cosify it so it kind of worked in our thing. And he writes lyrics, and it's really kind of added more to the flavor of the band. So and we've gone through some singers here and there. Frankie's been in and out of the band, and you can find all this online. So I'm not talking out of school, or but he's always been a member of the band, and we've gotten fill-ins for him, people for touring, or unfortunately, last year's album we used another singer because of his situation. But I think his heart's always been with the band. But he's been back with us since the end of last year. And to me, this is the best lineup, musically, personality wise, stuff like that. So, I feel responsible for these guys. I feel obligated to them, but in a good way. Like, I want to give them the best experience as well, because, again, if they're happy and they're excited, I'm happy and excited, and the music's happy and excited, even though it is metal. I mean, you can still be happy about what you're doing. I mean? And
happy metal. Let's do this.
And I think that's happy metal.
Happy metal. I like that term. Let's do our last break then before we do into the wrap up here. But I mean, I think that's probably where we want to go next, Mick, is we want to find out, the experience that you're trying to put together for the guys in your band. We want to let our audience know, and grow your audience if we can help you experience that same happy metal. I think that's a cool term. So let's take a break and we'll come right back. How's that? Cool?
Sounds good.
All right.
Barstools poised.